Hi guys, and today's movie that you don't hate.
Alright, so Suicide Squad. Now we actually had a lot of high hopes for this movie.
Yes.
We thought that
here.
yeah, we really wanted this movie to be awesome. We really wanted Jared Leto to be awesome.
When he was in it.
Yeah. But either way, it doesn't matter because there are some scenes that are actually pretty good. It's actually not too bad of a movie. And if you have never seen You Don't Hate, how it works is we're going to break down this movie in 5 different categories. And that's going to be the plot, the acting, the directing, the action sequences, the characters, and that's it.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. So you know what? This movie came out in August, and it had a lot of anticipation for it after the after Warner Brothers kind of hit like a little, what do we say, foul tip on Batman vs Superman.
I give them a base hit for that. You know, they got on base. You know, they started their universe. You know, their cinematic universe. It wasn't the home run. They thought they were going to step up to bat.
Man of Steel started there.
Okay.
But whatever. Anyway, so the high hopes that we had with Batman vs Superman for 8 minutes of fighting, I still think Freddy vs Jason was a better version of the movie, but whatever. Anyway, so we're
off topic.
We're all very off topic. But anyway, so even though that that made a lot of money, they saw the backlash of this movie. Warner Bros. Saw the backlash of this movie, and BVS. So they got a little bit of a fear there, and they had to go back and do some things for Suicide Squad. And when it did come out, regardless of the critical freaking backlash that it got, it made a decent amount of money.
It made a decent amount of money, and there was a lot of people who really loved this film.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Terrence, tell us the plot of Suicide Squad.
All right. Well, before that, can we start the scoreboard now?
Oh yeah, Terrence, put the scoreboard on now.
I only bring that up now because we totally bring up the scoreboard like at the last second right before we scored something. But now that the scoreboard's here, I can tell you about the plot. Okay, so the plot of this film,
we're good,
is that we have Amanda Waller, who is who's a government official. They never really say what her title is. Finds with the realization of there being superpowered beings in the world, wants to know how she can kind of protect the world, or at least start a group that can handle things that would deal with these particular type of powered individuals. So the only way that she can get these people to be on her team and work for the government is that she goes after the villains. So she's going to look for the people who would have no choice but to work for her.
Instead of the Justice League.
Instead of because the Justice League doesn't exist
yet.
All right. So she goes after, I wouldn't say the worst of the worst, but at least people with skills and that she can get in her pocket and somehow kind of force to work with them. In her case, they use a bomb in the neck. And if you're familiar with the comics or with even the animation that came out, that's true to the comics. So she uses a bomb in the neck to kind of keep them in line and go out and handle things that would normally get people killed, especially if you don't have superpowers, under her discretion. So that would basically be the plot of the movie. And like I was saying before, if you're familiar with the comic or even the animated thing, because DC does great with their animation, it basically follows those lines. Not with all the characters that they had in those particular ones, because Suicide Squad changes on a whim whenever they feel they decide to want to throw somebody else into it. But it kept true to what was already set up as far as the existing lore for it. So
yeah, and pretty much it's, if you guys have not seen the Assault on Arkham, the Batman Assault on Arkham, check that out. It's a really great animated movie, but it's pretty much the exact same synopsis, and it's I think for the most part it's actually a pretty good plot.
Yeah.
The only thing that I didn't understand was why didn't they get Batman or anybody to help? Because I mean they're talking about,
because you can't have Batman come to the Suicide Squad.
No, I'm talking about a Waller. Why didn't she go to Batman first before she goes to Suicide Squad?
Oh, for help?
Yeah.
Because she didn't need help yet. She was really just setting up the squad.
He just beat Superman's ass.
True. This was like, I need someone to stop Superman. Why don't I get the guy who stops Superman?
No, let's go get these.
Some other people who have never ever even touched.
No, but again, let's put the people that Batman put in there. Anyway,
the guy who beat Superman and the guy who locked you guys up, we're not even gonna call him.
We're gonna use you instead. Regardless. Anyway, the basic
plot number 1.
basic plot of the movie is all right in my book. I give it a like. What do you give it?
I definitely give this movie a like. The movie a like. I do give the movie a like, but I definitely give the plot a like. Like I said, it stays true to everything that is the Suicide Squad. Even the members that were in the Suicide Squad, like I said, whether they were all in at the same time in this incarnation of the beginning of Suicide Squad, was not really debatable. But what they did was the heart and soul of Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm. Now the acting, we get the point, right? So the acting in this movie, you have got some Oscar-nominated players in there.
Yeah,
and it's a pretty great cast actually.
I mean, we got
a mix of everything. We have Will Smith, obviously. Margot Robbie, Joel Kinneman, Jay Hernandez, Cara Delevingne, which, whatever.
I think they're more than an actor.
Well, she's a model, actually.
Or a model, that's what it was.
Adewale Akinwe Agbaghe.
Good job, because I was not even going to try that name.
Karen Fukuhara.
Look at you! 2 for 2!
Fuck me? No, fuck you! All right. They're the ones that play the Suicide Squad. And of course, Viola Davis. And
also,
last but not least, is Jared Leto as the Joker. Now, we're not going to get into that. We'll get into that in a minute. I mean, the original choices, though, were Ryan Gosling as the Joker.
I think I would have rather seen that.
Tom Hardy as Rick Flag. He had to back out because of the Revenant. He was actually fine.
I thought he was gonna be another character.
I thought he was gonna be Boomerang.
That would be interesting too. But no, it's fine. Boomerang didn't even have a big piece. I would have been mad if he'd have been Boomerang and then they gave him a small role.
When Ryan Gosling backed out of the Joker role, they went to Jake Gyllenhaal.
Ooh, that'd have been great!
If you've seen Jake Gyllenhaal in like Nightcrawler, yeah, I think he would have done.
That would have been
awesome.
Great.
And even Southpaw, he was freaking amazing in Southpaw. So, I think he would have been an awesome Joker.
Unless they would have done him with the tattoos and
and that was actually it's funny. You know what? We'll get into characters and all that in a bit. Yeah,
we're talking about the jobs that they did.
Oprah Winfrey was up for
Viola Davis, yeah.
She was up for Viola Davis. She was gonna play Viola. She was gonna come out on The Help Part 2, and she was gonna play Viola Davis. Anyway,
which I thought would have been distracting when they brought that up. There's like it would have been awesome and cool to see her play that particular, because I've never seen her play, mean Oprah.
Yeah, and I think that would have been the challenge right there. But you know what? We said the same thing about Denzel in Training Day, and that got him an Oscar. So you know what? That would have been interesting. But I think Viola Davis was fine. Yeah. She did a great job. Actually, she's the real villain in the whole freaking movie.
Yeah, right. So in a movie about villains, she is
the main villain. Mm-hmm. And her acting in it was just stone-faced serious, and it was great. Will Smith was Will Smith.
Yeah, he
was finally Will Smith because he's always something else. I mean, he's been playing these songs,
all these roles where he has to tone his charisma down. Exactly. He got to be who he was, and I thought this was a great role for him because outside of the comic books, we really don't know. I mean, he's an assassin, but we don't really know what the personality is outside of that. Got to do my job. What Will Smith gave him a personality, and it was something that we all love Will Smith. So to see Will Smith's personality and just assign it to Deadshot was awesome. So
he was basically Mike Lowry.
Is Mike Lowry with a gun? Wait, Mike Lowry has a gun. Mike Lowry with a mask.
No, he was Mike Lowry with a mask and no money.
Well, he got paid.
No, but not money like Mike Lowry.
Anyway, he got paid to be in the film.
Forget it. All right. Anyway, so I thought that everybody played their roles right. You know who was a surprise for me? Mm-hmm. I had high hopes for Jared Leto, to be honest with you. We'll get into that in a little while. But the one that surprised me the most, because I've given him so much crap, and I'm proud of you because you actually did better, was Jack Courtney. He was one of the standouts for me. He was one of the standouts. Margot Robbie too. She was
I think Jack Courtney gets a lot of crap for no particular reason. I think he gets crap because
he gets crap for Die Hard, and he gets crap for
Die Hard. Just was not a good movie.
Yes, he gets crap for that, and he gets crap for the freaking stiffness of how he played calories.
Okay, well, okay. Look, Jack Courtney gets a lot of crap because he gets casted as a leading man, and he maybe just not leading man material.
Yeah, like freaking Worthington.
It's the same thing. So he may not just be leading man material, but I don't think that he's a bad actor. I think he's a decent actor. And in the right roles, he shines. This was the right role for him. This as Boomerang, he gets to use your own accent. Yeah. You don't have to fake an American accent anymore. What's better than that? And he got to be a little bit, because he plays a lot of serious characters. Yeah. He got to, have a little fun with his character, and he went with it. So I liked him. I liked him as Boomerang.
Okay, now let's go and talk about the elephant in the room.
We didn't talk about Margot Robbie.
Well, we'll talk about. Okay, you want to talk about Margot Robbie?
The elephant in the room is Joker.
Joker, but I was going to get to Margot Robbie last because she was the actually bright spot. So I'll just say it right now. The acting by Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn was friggin' awesome.
Okay.
And before the movie came out, I said that she was going to be stealing every damn scene that she was in, and sure enough, she did. She just was just so freaking awesome. And you thought she was good in Wolf of Wall Street. Mm-hmm. She really, really plays it up on this. I mean, she just no holds barred. David Ayers just lets her do it and just go with it, and she does. She's just
she really, like you said, embraced the role. It wasn't one of those things where like, I'm casting this, but I don't know any of the material. I'm just gonna do whatever I think should be done, and make my own Harley Quinn. She really didn't. She didn't do what what's his name from Arrow, Stephen Amell. Right,
Stephen Amell did for Casey Jones.
For Casey Jones, where he was like, oh, I'm in a comic book movie. She didn't do that. She took it serious. I really hated him for doing that. She took it serious, and she lived her character. Well, she didn't live her character, but she was her character. So I think, and her acting is top notch anyway. So it wasn't we ever was like, she read that line wrong. She was in on everything. So as far as her acting, great. We already knew that going into it. That's what we were gonna get, and she delivered.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. The acting by Jared Leto as the Joker.
All right.
Now hold on. You go Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, hell, even Mark Hamill, which pretty much in line with what the Joker really is. The only one will probably be Ledger because he modernized it a little bit. Great. But overall, what the Joker is from a psychological standpoint, all of the actors I thought got. What Jared Leto did was he took his the method acting that he did for like the Dallas Buyers Club, which got him an Oscar. So great, the guy can act, but I don't think that he got that real just chaos craziness that Jack and Ledger got, even Romero to a certain degree. But I just don't think he got it.
Okay.
And I would have loved to see more. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe, and we'll get to directing right now, but maybe that was the issue, is that if David Ayers would have put those scenes in that he had, all his scenes for the most part, if it was intricate to the story,
which since it was,
do you think that it would have made a bigger difference? Because I just think that you're only getting the Joker in pieces. You're not getting the full.
Okay, so what do we get what do we get from the Joker? What do we get the scenes from Jared Leto? Because I don't want to say it that way, because that's really talking about more of the characters themselves.
Right. We'll get to the characters.
And I think we have to look at it in the way that we're in this particular category: his acting, not his interpretation.
Not his interpretation.
This is acting. So this is acting. So when we get the characters, I think it
kind of goes hand in hand.
I will.
When it comes to this particular role, it goes hand in hand.
Okay, so I don't think that he did a bad job acting. I think all of our issues with his Joker is his interpretation of it. It wasn't what we wanted, and I don't think that was.
Is it his or is it Ayers?
I blame him or Ayers? I think I blame Ayers on it, because I think it was more along the lines of how he was presented on screen than the whole things as far as the character and his mannerisms. I didn't really have a problem with those. His wicked laugh and the way he talked to
his purrs.
Yeah, the way he the way he talked to people and stuff like that, it came off more menacing than kind of like unpredictable, like the Joker normally would have been. And those were decisions. It didn't turn me off. What I really got turned off with his Joker was way it was presented. But I think I was more with David Ayers and the characters and the directing and stuff like that. I think that fell on him. I think Jared Leto gets too much critique on the Joker interpretation just because he method acted who Joker was.
When we say method, he never broke character, and and we said this before. If you look behind the scenes of some interviews and stuff like that, how he never broke character. He sent crazy things to the cast members, dead rats, and used condoms and all this other stuff that he did.
He went Blade Trinity, Wesley Snipes. Yeah. Call me Blade on set.
So more like more like Jim Carrey and freaking Andy Kaufman, where he just was just him the whole time. I mean, he just really consumed the character. So I guess maybe you're right as far as what he was directed to do. He did his job.
He did.
Is that what you're saying?
He did his job, and his input on that particular character, I didn't have a problem with. He acted well. I mean, he didn't have a lot to give me to really I could sit up there and say like, oh,
exactly. And
maybe when the extended cut come out, I was like, ooh, God, you did bad in that scene. But I got the few scenes where it was really he had a brief encounter with Margot Robbie in Harleen Quinzel. Before she basically became Harley Quinn, he had a brief encounter with Common's character, which was the tattoo man, and and that was it. And a getaway from Batman. I was like, he really didn't do much. Yeah. I mean, what acting did we really say? We were like, ha 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 ha. That's all we got.
All right. So who gets the point for acting? Hate or like?
I think the acting got acting was a like. I mean, what was the problem? Nobody had any problem with the acting.
All right,
I'll tell you what we had a problem with.
The directing. David Ayers is a very talented producer, writer, director. He, I believe, he wrote Training Day. Yeah, he wrote Training Day.
Yeah,
he wrote Training Day. Directed End of Watch, and
I love End of Watch.
And Fury was very good. Brad Pitt, Shia LaBeouf, really good. And so he has done some pretty good quality work. Great filmography for this particular movie, though. And you know what? I kind of want to give him a pass because I know that, especially from when you read between the lines and you listen to the interviews and you listen or you read some of these articles about the movie, freaking studios were in his ear, like a lot.
They were really nervous.
Yeah, they were nervous.
It came out from that first trailer because that first trailer was a misrepresentation of what the movie was. And I what's funny is that I would have liked to see what David Ayer really had in mind. The whoever cut the trailer wanted to do something fun and light, and they did a really light-hearted trailer, something that would get people interested in it. And then people were like, "Oh my God, this is what Suicide Squad's going to be! I can't wait to see it." And then they got back to them and they were like, "This isn't what Suicide Squad is. Now we have to make this movie what the trailer is, so that way people won't be disappointed when they see this dark, gritty film."
And then you go back, and what we were talking about at the beginning of the show was the amount of critical backlash that Batman vs Superman got for being too dark. And they didn't want an extension of that, so the studio pretty much was in his ear to go and do reshoots. Now this movie was written in 6 weeks. Okay, it went through what, 6 or 7 different endings. And
she needed a new ending. This movie. Well, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, pretty much. And it was just a lot of things that were not handled really well on this, and a lot of it was panic. And in my opinion, it was panic.
They even brought the people who did the trailer to come in and recut the film.
Yeah, so it's not. I mean that's part. He's part to blame for that because
the studio's part to blame for.
But so is the studio. That's the only thing. And then the use of the Joker. For him to be heavily advertised and for him to have 10 minutes of screen time, that's on him, flat out. Sorry.
I'm calling this Rogue One. Darth Vader.
Either way, that's another show. Either way, you know what? He still played a part in it, and because of that, when you're looking at the movie, there is so much shift in tone, especially when you're kind of start out when it's kind of dark, then it goes light. I mean, it's all over the place.
2 people edited that film.
Yeah, it's all over and you can really see that. It's all over the place, and that's the one thing that's another one of the things that I did not care for in the movie.
Adding in extra scenes that didn't make sense. The Harley Quinn on the elevator scene, because they wanted to give her more stuff, so they gave her own action scene and just threw it in there. It was like disjointed and it just didn't make sense why it happened. And I was like, hey, she's fine. Nobody knows that she's fine on the elevator, and they just get there at the last minute and she's done. I'm like, it just came out of no. Anyway, the movie was all over the place, like you said.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, I can't like that part.
Yeah, I'm giving it a hate.
It's a hate, man. That was one of the worst parts of the film. It started off so good and then just kind of became a mess.
Big time. Yes, you're absolutely right. Action sequences. This movie is action-packed, and that part does not disappoint whatsoever. Kind of like Avengers, I guess, when you're when you got all the robots, and then you got the first Avengers with the Shatari, and so something similar to that as far as we don't care that you kill these people.
Yeah,
just shoot them up. And
you got that awesome scene with Deadshot where he
pretty much takes them by themselves.
Yeah, they challenge him by himself, and he gets out there and he wrists guns and yelling Suicide Squad the whole time as he's taking down all these faceless magical creatures, things that nobody cares that dies. So that scene was awesome.
And they used to be human. That's
but because they're monsters now, nobody cares. And that's how you get a PG-13 rating, people.
And you know what? And I think that's probably one of the things that messed them up. If they would have gone rated R, Deadpool,
it would have been more. They would have had to go gritty.
Yeah, it would have gone. Well, either way, I think they could have. Deadpool wasn't dark. Deadpool was fun.
That was fun, but they didn't write those type of jokes for this movie.
Yeah, I guess. Anyway, so that scene, the scene with Batman, was awesome to have Ben Affleck do the cameo in that.
Yeah.
And there was a
chase scene with him on top of the Lambo, and the whole water scene with Harley and stuff like that. That was pretty cool.
And the Jay Hernandez, who plays Diablo, he when he hooks up and drops pins, but when he hooks up and just goes to the fire and all that, and I mean that's all that whole action sequence.
Too bad we didn't see some of those other action scenes that they showed us in the trailers that didn't make the final cut of the film.
Yeah, that would have been. I know, right? Really. Yeah, that was pretty cool on that part. So there's a lot of different parts that, as far as action sequences, that were great. So I'm definitely giving action sequence a like.
No, definitely. I mean. How would you feel about the last action scene though, when they took on
the Enchantress?
Yeah, the Enchantress and
spoilers.
If you haven't seen it, how'd you feel about that last one? I mean,
it was kind of corny, a little hokey.
Based on, I mean, that was probably one of the weaker parts of the film was that last action scene because it just kind of ended out of nowhere. But based on that one downer moment versus all the other action scenes, I think it was did really good. I mean, he had the joke on the helicopter and stuff. So I definitely give it a like.
Yeah, definitely give it a like.
Yeah.
All right.
We're on
the
3-1?
Oh, I'm sorry. We're at 3-1.
Yeah.
3-1. I have a feeling it's gonna be 3-2 because characters.
Okay, so here I don't know if I want to let you go first. I don't want to go.
I'm gonna go first.
Okay, you go first.
Characters.
All right.
Will Smith was awesome.
Okay, so his character is Deadshot.
His character is Deadshot.
He wore the mask for about 5 seconds.
That's the only thing I didn't like. It's Will Smith. But you know what? Can't you just learn from Ryan Reynolds? It don't matter. Just learn from Ryan Reynolds. It's okay to not be seen. Just listen to the voices.
Well, the difference with that is that one, Deadpool's character is such an animated character, and they did that animation in the mask with CGI. Deadshot is such a serious character in the comic books. They don't really show his emotion through the mask. Another person, a good example, or I guess, a good example of somebody that they need to do that with is Spider-Man in Homecoming.
Right.
Because
they kind of did it
because Spider-Man shows his emotion through his mask. His eyes get big and stuff like that. You can almost see his smile through his mask. Deadshot's character is not really like that. His character, he's wearing a mask the whole time with a thing, and then you get the little, voice bubbles as far as what he's talking about. He doesn't show emotion through the mask, so that would have been hard for them to really interpret.
But you mentioned that he's got several masks.
Yeah, he's got several.
So he's got the,
So we could have saw him switching.
Yeah,
masks.
you could. Yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah.
But so the interpretation of Deadpool. Deadshot was good. Harley Quinn was awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
she was. She modernized it. Was
fun,
awesome.
Crazy, and deadly. That's what Harley Quinn is.
I like Killer Croc. He was kind of cool.
I think it was good. Even though I kind of wish they had CGI'd him a little bit. It didn't have to go all CGI, but just something to make him look a little bit bigger because his character has always been like this whole physical presence. It's like even though he's had different interpretations before, you guys give me crap about that. He's had different through the ages. They've shown like a human version, like they showed in this Suicide Squad with the scales, all the way to like alligator with legs. That's great.
Or how they
or crocodile with legs.
Yeah, how they got him in the Arkham game.
Yeah, exactly. So that's just how creative license with different artists. So but in every one of those incarnations, he's always been this big thing, and he was just like regular man size. And Will Smith
with a hood.
Yeah, Will Smith was taller than him, and it was like outside of the one scene when he was in a cell where he attacked the security guard or the prison guard. I mean, we didn't really get to see his viciousness on screen. So
you want to talk about that? How about Slipknot? Didn't get to see.
Somebody had to die.
He barely got there. He was already gone.
Somebody had to die. Talking about the assault on Arkham, you know, King Shark died, and King Shark, and that's another person who had different incarnations. King Shark was actually a thing on Shark in some comic books.
King Shark didn't die in that.
Yeah, he did. He lost his. Oh, not King Shark. I'm thinking of KG Beast.
Yeah, KG Beast.
But they already killed KG Beast.
Well, okay, so Diablo was okay. I mean, Jay Hernandez. I love Jay Hernandez. He's awesome, but you know, he was okay.
I don't understand how he died.
Oh, I guess he like, you know, he overdid it, like as far as the.
Didn't that just make his fire go away?
Fell back and
he did his Superman flare. Solar flare thing. I don't know. I didn't understand any of the guy. So I wasn't that big of a fan. I mean, he did all right. I wasn't that big. I wasn't a big fan of his character. Period. That wasn't what I was looking for in the Suicide Squad. So what a character. Okay, so we've talked about
Rick Flag.
I think Joel Kinneman did a good job as Rick Flag.
He did better than playing Alex Murphy in RoboCop.
Hey. That should be on You Don't Hate, because I actually like.
I can't stand.
I would defend that movie.
I hate that movie.
That movie is good. It would better if it had been rated R.
Anyway,
Joel Kinneman did a good job as Rick Flag.
He did a good job as Rick Flag.
Is a military leader.
He's the new Michael Bean.
You know, if they didn't put him in Terminator Genesis.
It should have been Joel Kinneman. All right.
Back to Joel Kinneman. I mean, his character, you know, he's a military leader. He took over I'm just in charge of you guys. I have to make sure you guys stay in line.
I'd rather see Tom Hardy.
I think it would have been wasted.
But he did good anyway. All right. Of course, it was we talked about him earlier. Jack Courtney.
I loved him.
I liked him. He's a bright spot. He was good.
If he got more dialogue, I would have been more. You know what? Quentin Tarantino should have done this film so I could have got more dialogue.
yeah. And they wouldn't have changed in tone either.
I think a more snappier, wittier banter with some of these characters would have made them a lot more likable.
Yeah, the whole thing with them being family, but they just met. I don't know about that. Waller, obviously. Okay. I thought that she was ruthless, and Viola Davis played her right. I thought that she did really good. I don't know why she didn't pick Batman, but whatever.
Who we got left?
Katana. Hey, let's talk about her sword that takes your soul but never does it in the whole movie. Not once. Why talk about it?
No, it did once when she cut the head off of that one unnamed creature that used to be human, and then she holds the sword up. Or was that just in the trailer?
That was in the trailer. That was not in the movie.
It's in the trailer.
It was not in the movie. I didn't see that at all in the movie.
I don't know. I remember that so vividly.
So why show it? Why even talk about it if they never happened?
Because they cut it out of the directing.
Horrible errors. Anyway. And who else? Is that it?
Katana, and then we get to, we said Harley Quinn.
Then we get to Leto.
Then we get to Leto. Okay, so now interpretation.
That interpretation. That's horrible.
Oh, man, You
know what? Okay, let's be real. All right, it was okay.
It was okay. It just was in the list of Jokers.
It's dead last.
Yes.
I put Romero before him. I put Mark Hamill before him.
Because to me...
He's not even close to Ledger. He can't touch Ledger, and he can't touch Jack.
They tried to do... Like I said, they tried to do menacing, and they tried to do gangster instead of psychopathic.
Yeah. And that's what thank you. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was talking about with that. You know, I want Jack Nicholson in The Shining. I don't want friggin' Tony Montana. You know what I'm saying? And then the tattoos was David Ayer's idea too. To do all the tattoos and all that. I did not like that Mexican cartelish type, Antonio Montana with green hair.
Because to me, with the tattoos for people mean things. Tattoos is like, I want to remember something. Joker has no care from today to tomorrow. Joker has no, outside of, whatever he is. And to bring up Dark Knight, he was like, I'm a dog chasing cars. I don't never know what I'd do if I actually caught. His point is just to do whatever's on his mind at that particular time. To do whatever it is on his mind at that particular time. When we look back at Cesar Romero, he never thought of anything as far as this is going to be our plan. No, they had Penguin for that. No, hey, here's our plan. Joker, you go do this. Okay, I did get to cause chaos and have fun. Yeah, boom. If we look at Jack Nicholson, his thing was to cause as much chaos as possible. Just because.
Right.
just because. I mean, I'm gonna make everybody smile because I got this permanent smile on my face. But
at the same time,
his point in the movie was what?
But at the same time, Jack Nicholson was his Joker was also kind of like in competition with Batman as far as press and news, and he wanted to be more. He wanted to be talked about more than Batman.
I believe that more as a Joker motivation than he. I mean, I guess you could say his.
Then running a nightclub.
Yeah, it was like,
I want you to bang my
buying a purple Lamborghini, and I know that there's a Joker mobile, but that Joker mobile is fun. Joker wouldn't have a Lamborghini.
Yeah, and on top of that, he's in the video more than he is in this movie. Anyway,
and like I said, there are some scenes that really were cut out. Some scenes that express his relationship with Harley Quinn and her as Harleen Quinzel, and their toxic relationship, which I thought they totally missed the ball on with this Joker. And they always made it seem like not star-crossed lovers, but like more like just kind of like, hey, we're gonna almost like a Bonnie and Clyde type deal.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the way they expressed it in this movie, and that is not their relationship.
Not their relationship at all.
Their relationship is that he really doesn't give a crap about her. It's just that she belongs to him, and so her love for him makes him feel like he owns her.
Yeah.
And he brings her with him because she will do whatever he asks.
Right.
So I mean, in those extra scenes that were cut off, that would express more like, and you really would have got that relationship between them two where it's bad for her and he's really not really in it for anything but himself. So I mean, but his character himself, the director kind of let us down with this particular interpretation. I don't think Jared Leto let us down with it. He did what he was given to do, and he tried to give his input to it, like as far as the mannerisms, the way he talked, the way he laughed, but all the other stuff that we got given with this movie didn't work.
Yeah, it didn't. And to be honest with you, because he was so heavily marketed for this movie, he takes a majority of this hate. So I'm gonna give it to hate.
Okay, so now let's look at the characters. Okay,
I'm gonna give it to hate regardless.
Katana, underused.
Underused, definitely underused.
Slipknot, definitely underused. Who else were we thinking about? Because this is my bad side here. So we got Slipknot. I was a little disappointed by
Jared Leto was underused. Joker was underused.
Jared Leto, and we got Harley Quinn, Batman, Deadpool, Deadshot, Joel Kinneman, Viola Davis. I'm almost 50-50 on this.
Yeah, but Joker's such a presence.
It was the one that hurt me so much.
Yeah, because of that, I'm gonna give it to hate.
I gotta give it to hate.
Yep, hate. There it is. All right. 3-2. We got a winner there. Right. We defended it all right. Just a side note there, the soundtrack was very good. It was an iPod list. Yeah, it's an iPod list, but it was very good. It's been it's sold a lot of copies. It's I think it's either gone gold or platinum or something. I can't remember. They're even releasing a collector's edition, so look for that. But the 21 Pilots, the Heathen song, the Sucker for Pain song, that Imagine Dragons, that soundtrack has just boomed. So far as the music standpoint goes, it was a awesome piece with that. Okay. Yeah. Now this movie opened in 4,255 theaters, the largest in August. That's never happened before. That's the largest in August. The opening for this movie beat Guardians of the Galaxy and Will Smith's I Am Legend. Okay. As far as numbers, it was the number one movie for 3 weeks before it lost the fourth week to Don't Breathe,
which is an underrated movie.
Yeah, that was a really good movie. $175 million for budget for this movie. I'm pretty sure that you add a little bit more for marketing, but it grossed $745 million worldwide. So that tripled. It did really good. Yeah, it did very well. The reviews were horrible. Some people called it toxic. Some called it boring, bad, flat out bad. Out of 232 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, it scored a 26. So yeah. It was like a rival. Yeah. The sequel is shooting more than likely next year, and it's possibly going to be rated R.
Okay, I think that now we know that we can do it. I think the Suicide Squad's a good movie for them to do it, and I think
the do-over, Suicide Squad 2, the do-over.
I think that them, DC, and obviously, like we saw with Fox, are learning that some properties can be rated R, and can get out there and still make money. And I think this is a movie that could make money.
I think the problem with that is, you know, and you can disagree if you want, but you look at how they're pairing comic books to kids. You know, like a little
they
too
know
much.
They know family will go see comic book movies.
Comic book movies. But if you don't, if you're a comic book fan and you look
there are different age groups for comic books.
Exactly. You look at the content itself, and you look at those characters and you invest in those characters. You have to be true to those characters. You cannot water it down. You have to be true to the content, and the money will make itself if you're true to the content. Deadpool's a perfect example.
Unless you're just Dredd.
Unless you're just Dredd.
They won't make any money by being true to the content.
Yeah, and you know what? That's a whole other topic for another day. But it is true though. Carl Urban is not a name, and it sucks. He's a great actor, but he's not a name. So that's more than likely why. If that was a name, I'm not talking about Sylvester Stallone, but Judge Dredd with Sylvester Stallone did $50 million.
I saw that movie.
Yeah, it did $50 million.
I watched it the other day.
Yeah, horrible. Anyway,
that movie was not horrible. But you don't hate Judge Dredd.
But going back, all right, fine. You don't hate Judge Dredd. We'll do it. All right, but anyway, but regardless, you know, now that they know what they have, they know that this Suicide Squad franchise is a successful one. Part 2, obviously, is, you know, like I said, it's going to be shooting next year. Yeah, they can. I think they have a little bit of a leeway there that they can. They can make it rated R.
I think
take a chance.
This film now has its legit audience, and I think giving it the do-over in part 2 and giving it an R rating would re-interest the people who didn't like this first one.
So from the score of 3 to 2. You don't hate this movie.
You don't hate this movie. This movie had a lot of redeeming factors to where you walk out of it enjoying some part of it, whether it was just the, you know, Will Smith, Margot Robbie, and Viola Davis part of the movie, or if it was just you were a big fan of action, or just seeing Suicide Squad on screen. In live action, should I say. This is the first time that we got to see these particular characters on screen. So, there were a lot of faults. I'm not gonna gloss over those. I'm not gonna try to polish a turd here and say that, you know, it's still good. But there were a lot of things. There's a lot of things that were wrong with this film. But you can't say that if you just, you know, let go and give this film a chance, that you don't walk away saying like, it was enjoyable. It was enjoyable, and that you'll want to like, hey, I want to check that movie out again.
It's a popcorn flick.
It's a popcorn flick.
Popcorn flick, just to check out. It's not an Oscar winner.
We don't need every comic book to move us or make us want to cry. Everything doesn't have to be Civil War. Everything doesn't have to be Avengers. Everything. I'm just saying a bunch of Marvel movies. But everything doesn't have to be something to where we feel like we connect with it emotionally. Everything, sometimes it could just be something fun. Back in the 90s, back in the 80s, all our comic book movies were just ridiculous, and we loved them. Masters of the Universe. Because that movie is ridiculous.
Well, you know, they're gonna, you know, now Warner Brothers is looking forward to Wonder Woman, so that's a lot lighthearted, to be honest with you. I mean, it's still action packed, but it's still I think that's going to be the start. I think that's gonna be the start.
I can't wait for that film. And then please don't disappoint me.
Yeah, and then after that is Justice League, and when they start shooting this, eventually we're going to go into Suicide Squad versus Justice League. I'm pretty sure that's going to happen.
They would get killed. They would be murdered. Rated R, Suicide Squad versus Justice League. They would be murdered. And there was nobody on Suicide. Batman beat them all.
Yep, exactly. And why didn't she call him? Why didn't Amanda Waller call him? All right, Terrence, take us home.
All right, so as always, when we do these You Don't Hates, we love getting suggestions as far as other movies that we could try to defend. Because I love a lot of films that a lot of people don't like, and there's some that I don't like that people like. Arrival. But please suggest, put in a comment below if there's a movie that you're thinking about that we should defend, that it's one of those films that you love that a lot of people just kind of give it a lot of negative hate because they're jumping on the bandwagon. Let us know if we feel like there's a lot of redeeming factors there. We'll defend it. And we threw out a bunch of stuff like with Judge Dredd, and you know, I think
we still owe you a Transformers: Dark of the Moon.
I'm pushing it back as far as I can.
With the news from Transformers the last night, we're gonna have to do it.
If we do it, I will look. I'm not gonna be all biased, and you know, I've done 2 already. I've already done 2, and I tried to be biased. I don't know why he's making me do a 3rd, completing the trilogy.
Well, we we actually had already recorded it, but with technical difficulties, we had to scrap it. We couldn't air it.
This
why we aired the last two
Transformer
episodes.
gods, the Transformer gods coming out saying, "Don't."
Those Quintessons. Anyway, all right. So we look forward to the next one, which will probably Judge Dredd, to give him some time to get over
Judge Dredd. I did both Judge Dredd.
I don't like Judge Dredd.
Sylvester Stallone. I love them both.
Oh, whatever.
I love them both, and I even think that the special effects in the original Judge Dredd still hold up, except for that one thing where he's on the bike.
On the bike.
Yeah, that's the one thing that didn't hold up. But everything else.
And Armand Asante's eyes. I think that's weak.
I still don't understand how they were like clone brothers. I don't know. Why don't they look the same?
Yeah. Back on Manny.
I'm Terrence.
We'll see you next time. All right, ready?
Shout out Will Smith. Please go back into music.
No.
Yeah, he'd be doing Suicide Squad. Oh my God! Wouldn't that have been great if he had done a Suicide Squad song?
Hell yeah, dude. Getting shooty with it. Oh, that's awful. Getting squatty.
Dad, I bet you don't know my favorite Will Smith song.